Henry. What a goal for Arsenal from Thierry Henry.
It was January 9th, 2012, a cold London night, the kind of evening when breath hangs in the air and floodlights cast sharp shadows across the pitch. The FA Cup third-round tie between Arsenal and Leeds United wasn't expected to be glamorous. For most neutrals, it was just another routine fixture, but for Arsenal fans, it was destined to be one of the most unforgettable nights in the history of the Emirates Stadium, because this was the night Thierry Henry returned, and not only did he return, he scored, writing a chapter so perfect, it felt like football folklore. To understand why this single goal reverberated far beyond the 90 minutes, you need to rewind to the early 2000s. Henry wasn't just a striker, he was Arsenal. Signed by Arsene Wenger in 1999 from Juventus, many doubted whether this lanky winger turned forward would cut it in England, but he silenced every skeptic. With blistering pace, elegance, and a ruthless eye for goal, he transformed himself into one of the greatest strikers the Premier League had ever seen. He left defenders chasing shadows, scored goals that defied imagination, and carried Arsenal to 2 league titles and 2 FA Cups. His 228 goals in 377 games made him Arsenal's all-time leading scorer. But it wasn't just numbers, it was moments. Thierry Henry's skills were a perfect blend of elegance and precision that made him a nightmare for defenders. What set him apart wasn't just his speed, it was how effortlessly he combined that pace with flawless ball control and calm decision-making. He had a unique ability to slow the game down in front of goal, freezing defenders and goalkeepers alike, before placing the ball into the net with surgical accuracy. His signature move, cutting in from the left wing and curling the ball into the far corner, became one of football's most iconic techniques. Simple in theory, but nearly impossible to stop in practice. Henry also had an exceptional sense of spatial awareness. He could read the movement of defenders and exploit gaps before they even appeared. His first touch often dictated the entire play, smooth, purposeful, and always setting up the perfect next move. Whether it was a quick flick, a backheel pass, or a graceful feint, every touch had intention. He didn't just play football, he choreographed it, turning each goal into a moment of artistry. The flick and volley against Manchester United in 2000, the hat trick against Liverpool in 2004 when he slalomed past half the team, the solo run against Tottenham where he sprinted from his own half and celebrated arms outstretched, a silhouette that became iconic. He was the symbol of the Invincibles, the beating heart of Wenger's golden age. When Henry left in 2007 for Barcelona, Arsenal lost more than a player. They lost their talisman. He went on to win the Champions League and plenty of silverware in Spain, before finishing his career in the United States with the New York Red Bulls. By the time 2012 arrived, Arsenal were a team in transition. The Invincibles era was long gone. Cesc Fabregas had departed for Barcelona, Samir Nasri for Manchester City. Robin van Persie was carrying the burden of goals almost single-handedly. The club needed inspiration. The fans needed hope. So when news broke that Thierry Henry would return on a short-term loan from New York during Major League Soccer's off-season, the Arsenal faithful could hardly believe it. He wasn't coming back to reclaim his throne. He was 34 now, slower, not the force of nature he once was, but it didn't matter. He was coming home. Even if just for a few weeks, the king was back. The Emirates was buzzing that January evening. You could feel the anticipation in the air long before kickoff. Scarves, banners, chants, everything carried one name: Henry. Leeds United were there to play the role of challengers, but in truth, most people inside the ground were waiting for one thing. They were waiting for that moment. The match itself started uneventfully. Arsenal, as was often the case in that era, dominated possession but struggled to break through. Leeds defended deep, organized, determined not to be rolled over. Robin van Persie was rested, giving youngsters a chance. Still, the noise in the stands never wavered. Everyone knew what they were really there for. Then, in the 68th minute, the fourth officials board went up. The number 12 flashed red. Thierry Henry. He wasn't wearing his old number 14. Theo Walcott had that now. But as he jogged onto the pitch, the roar was deafening. It wasn't just applause, it was catharsis. It was thousands of fans welcoming back a legend, a friend, a hero. For a moment, the Emirates didn't feel like a stadium. It felt like a homecoming. It was classic Henry. Precision over power, calm over chaos. The ball nestled into the net and the Emirates erupted. The roar was primal. Strangers hugged each other. Fans jumped on seats. Grown men cried. And Henry? He spread his arms wide, sprinting towards the corner flag. His face a mixture of joy and disbelief. He wasn't supposed to do it. He wasn't supposed to turn back the clock. But he had. On the touchline, Arsene Wenger stood with his arms open, waiting. Henry rushed into his embrace, and the hug between player and manager summed it up better than words ever could. It was a father and son moment, two men who had built something historic, sharing one more piece of magic. That goal wasn't just the winner, it was a time machine. For Arsenal fans, it was as if the Invincibles had walked back onto the pitch for one night only. The scoreboard read Arsenal 1, Leeds 0, but in the stands, in the hearts of fans, it read Henry is home. For Arsenal fans, January 9th, 2012 isn't just a date, it's a memory etched into the soul of the club. It was proof that football is more than trophies, more than statistics. It's about moments that make you believe, that make you feel alive. Henry's return was a reminder that heroes can come back, even if only briefly, and that sometimes football scripts itself more perfectly than Hollywood ever could. He didn't need to be the player he once was. He didn't need to score 30 goals or carry the team. All he needed was one moment, one strike, one celebration to remind everyone why he was, and always will be, the king of Arsenal. Years later, fans still talk about it. Not because it changed Arsenal's season, not because it won them silverware, but because it was pure football magic. For one night, time stood still. For one night, Thierry Henry was 25 again, arms outstretched, gliding across the Emirates pitch. And if you ask any Arsenal supporter, they'll tell you they'll never forget the day Thierry Henry returned and scored again.